The engine is off. 11 minutes you haven't moved. Not tired, not sad, something older than either. Your body knows something your mind is refusing. The inner citadel. Today, we examine why your body refuses to cooperate. Here at the inner citadel, midlife is a summons. 3 disciplines have been mapping the same territory. Carl Jung, Marcus Aurelius, a neuroscientist named Porges. What they discovered across 3 centuries is one truth. This content is philosophy, not professional care. Jung observed every patient over 35 faced one crisis. Not career crisis, not marriage crisis, a crisis of meaning. His exact words, among all my patients over 35. Not one patient lacked this problem, meaningful outlook. He wasn't diagnosing, he was describing a universal passage. He called it individuation, becoming wholly yourself. The first half of life builds the persona. Your body stopped before your mind admitted anything was wrong. A man 51, same morning route, 8 years. The day he stopped, he sat for 40 minutes. He could not explain why. Most people cannot. But the body knew. It has always known. There's a reason this intensifies specifically between 40 and 50. The brain itself undergoes what neuroscience calls middle-aging. Neuroinflammation, white matter integrity, functional connectivity accelerating. This is not decline. A 2024 paper changed everything. You wake at 3 a.m., the feeling has no name. Not sadness, not fear, a hollowness where direction lived. You've built everything right, the career, the house, the reputation. None of it touches the 3 a.m. feeling. Something neuroscience just named, Jung intuited a century ago. Welcome to Phase 2, where neuroscience enters the room. Porges developed Polyvagal Theory in 1994. He was 57. He watched patients whose bodies refused to believe their minds. Your autonomic nervous system has 3 gears, not 2. Gear 1, safety and connection. Gear 2, fight or flight. Gear 3, the one nobody mentions, is shutdown. Dorsal vagal shutdown. Your nervous system's oldest evolutionary circuit. In reptiles, it's a freeze response. Inescapable threat activates it. In humans, it activates under chronic, perceived inescapable threat. Meaning deprivation triggers shutdown, exactly like physical danger. Numbness, lethargy, brain fog, hopelessness. Does this sound familiar? This is not laziness. Your reptilian brain is shutting down. Here's the key insight. The diagnosis changes the prescription entirely. You can't think out of a nervous system state. Be honest, when did you last feel fully alive? Neuroscience calls it dorsal shutdown. Jung had another name. He called it confrontation with the unconscious, his own first. Jung's breakdown at 38 produced his entire individuation theory. He descended into his own unconscious for 6 years, deliberately. What he found there became the map we're using today. The shadow is not your dark side. That is wrong. The shadow contains everything you were told you couldn't be. The rage at the colleague doing what you secretly wish. The envy knowing exactly what you have buried. In a moment, we'll reach the convergence that changes everything. John Verveek at Toronto calls this the meaning crisis. The loss of participatory knowing, belonging to something larger. The 40 to 50 cohort is the epicenter of this crisis. You grew up analog, you live digital, no map. Nobody taught you to mourn the world that disappeared. Your body's shutdown isn't failure. It's your oldest intelligence. Your nervous system refuses a life without meaning. This is the framework most therapists still do not teach. Neuroplasticity research confirms the midlife brain is not in decline. Here is what the research actually says, the opposite. What we've been exploring here resonates beyond this single episode. We explore a different dimension weekly. The pattern changes everything. Neuroscience, Jung, Stoicism about to collide now. What emerges from that collision changes your understanding. The missing piece inverts everything you've tried so far. Aurelius wrote at 50, "I woke dreading what was asked." He governed 3 wars simultaneously. His body refused. His Stoic morning practice was not productivity, it was survival. Premeditatio malorum, negative visualization, targets your amygdala directly. A 2024 fMRI meta-analysis confirmed it, stronger than CBT. Marcus Aurelius was training DLPFC inhibitory pathways without knowing it. The Stoic view from above maps to your DMN. Your DMN stitches memory to future. Stoics exploited this. Here's what Aurelius actually wrote. Book 5, Opening Meditation. At dawn when rising is hard, I rise for purpose. He was 50. His body resisted too. He rose anyway. This is the convergence no one has named, until now. Jung's autonomous complex was his dorsal shutdown equivalent. Porges called it neurosption, body scanning below consciousness. 3 centuries, 3 disciplines, all describing one phenomenon. Mainstream psychology missed this connection for 100 years. Because academic disciplines are organized to prevent convergence. What you're experiencing isn't a disorder, it's a convergence. The convergence of nervous system, unconscious, and philosophy. All 3 ask the same question in different languages. What has the second half of your life been asking? Not therapy, not productivity, not more self-optimization. Jung's answer is more radical than pop psychology allows. This content is educational philosophy. Professional support is not weakness. If this feels overwhelming, that recognition is the signal. Seek a professional. That is not weakness, that is courage. Now the reversal, the one that reframes all of this. Your shutdown is not the problem, it is the diagnosis. Your life and yourself have diverged, the body knows. Jung called this the psyche's final demand for authenticity. And Stoicism's answer is not positive thinking. Read it carefully. Epictetus, some things in your power, most things are not. Epictetus was enslaved. He built this framework without freedom. The inner citadel is the mind that cannot be enslaved. Neuroscience says the prefrontal cortex is trainable at any age. The 2025 Neuroplasticity Review. The midlife brain is not declining. It is restructuring. Stoicism prescribes the exact conditions needed. Voluntary discomfort, contemplative practice, morning examination, evening audit. These are not personality improvements. They are nervous system recalibration. Now, the convergence thesis that reframes your suffering entirely. Jung's shadow, Porges's dorsal vagal circuit, Aurelius's proherses, one phenomenon. Your body's dread and your soul's demand are one signal. The shutdown says, this life does not belong to you. Jung in his 50s, don't imagine light, Make darkness conscious. Make the darkness conscious. That sentence is the entire program. Your nervous system knows what you need to acknowledge. The practice that interrupts dorsal shutdown takes exactly 5 minutes. It only works when you understand why. We have arrived. This is shadow work, adapted for the midlife nervous system. Stage 1. Recognize the shutdown as signal, not malfunction. Ask what is being refused, what meaning is demanded. Stage 2. Marcus Aurelius's morning examination before the day begins. What do I dread today? Name it, do not avoid. The amygdala loses power over anticipated threats when named explicitly. Stage 3. The shadow dialogue, Jung's own method, 5 minutes. Write, the part of me I've refused to acknowledge is. Do not edit, the shadow speaks only in first drafts. This is the Jungian equivalent of ventral nervous system activation. You are moving from dorsal shutdown toward ventral safety. Through acknowledgement, through honest naming, through Stoic examination. We explored the doorway today. The full practice takes weeks. Transformation is proportional to commitment. Jung was honest about this. Tonight, one sentence, the thing I'm most afraid to admit. Do not censor. The shadow speaks in first drafts only. Aurelius did this at 50. His empire steadied. Jung did this through 60. He called the result wholeness. Not happiness, not success, wholeness. These are different destinations. The inner citadel is not a fortress. It just remains. What remains when the persona is finally set aside? You have sat with this. What has it asked? If your engine is off tonight, you know why. Not broken, orienting. 3 frameworks now available to navigate. The neuroscience confirms what Stoicism intuited, what Jung mapped. Transformation is not achieved by understanding. It is practiced daily. Begin tonight. One sentence, uncensored, persona cannot follow there. Your shadow has been carrying something. Time to carry it. That is individuation, what this half of life is for. Next week, the persona, the mask that costs you. If this resonated, the next episode goes deeper still. The engine starts again. The question, where do you drive?